always tell people that we don't cure, treat, or prevent anything. That we're just nutrition. I also say that we're not a get rich quick. This isn't, I'm going to give examples of earnings, but this is not a sit back, kick back, relax, and just money flows. This is a great opportunity, though, if you really want to help people. But I'm going to let them come in and really share their stories. I started just to lose a little bit of weight. I wanted to lose 10 pounds. I released 12 pounds in 30 days. And I was, I don't have this in here, but I was a nurse for kids with cancer. And so I was watching them really struggle. And that'll change your life, being a nurse for kids with cancer. And I also got exposed to just a lot of what's in the toxicity in the food. And just really how horrible the food system is. Come on down. And so it really just opened up my eyes. I read a book, it was called Detoxify or Die by a doctor. And it really related to me, and it opened up my eyes on everything. And so I got really, really passionate about the products. And I didn't start really just sharing the system so much for the opportunity side, just because I was telling everybody, oh my God, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, just like verbal vomit, because I was so passionate about it. And it's my sister, and she literally has gone to rehab for struggle, for diets. She could always lose weight, then she'd put it back on with a vengeance, and so she'd get weight off and then it'd come back on. This is the only thing that she's ever done where she's released 70 pounds and she's kept it off for over a year. Wow. So I'm really, really passionate on that sense too. My mom's back there who released 30 pounds. Woo, woo, yeah. People often think that this is a diet. It's not. It's nutrition. I have a lot of athletes that use it too. If you went to the store right now and you picked up the magazine, Lori Harder and Angelique Norrie would both be in there. And they use it for just great nutrition. So, Belinda, you want to share your story real quick? 30-second story since you're here? I'd love to just have the people in the room share their stories.
Yeah, I saw people all over on Facebook and my friends. I'm like, hey, what are they doing? I'm not interested. But they invited me to, I thought was a wine tasting. And it was not. So
whatever it takes to get you.
I'm like, my grandma said you would not have come otherwise. But I have been really tired. I had a really stressful corporate job, and this was not, I was always tired, and I had bloating and weight gain. I'm 54, and so, you just start, I don't know, it just, even if I wasn't heavy or overweight, I just didn't feel good.
Right.
And I was always stressed with my job, and so I went and I tried the products, and I noticed a real shift, definitely the first week, but I thought it was kind of placebo, but definitely about the second week I noticed a shift that I was sleeping better, I wasn't as tired, and I ended up losing 14 pounds in the first 30 days, which was a real nice side effect of the weight loss, because I'm like, I felt great, and then I ended up releasing another 6, so, and I have maintained this for a year, and I can't imagine not having this in my life in some way.
Yeah. And then Erin is very interested in the opportunity. Can you just touch on your story on that side too? 30 seconds on that?
Yes, I have always kind of been a slave to the corporate world, banking world, the pressures, sales. I don't know what you do, but it's, just knowing that every Monday morning I dreaded, every Friday for sales meetings I dreaded, and I felt like I lived for the weekends, and then I was depressed come Sunday night, and when I saw the opportunity and what young people like Casey and some older people like Jimmy Smith, who's 86 years old, making $300,000 a month, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, because I am not doing something right here. And I knew that I was not going to go into my late 50s, into my 60s, punching a clock for someone else. And I said, I'm going to quit, I'm going to walk away, I'm going to do whatever it takes, because I have role models all around me to show me. So I'm fired up, as you can see. Yeah. So I quit my job. I quit my job at the end of January. I quit my whole career of 25 years to do this. That's how passionate I am about it.
This past January.
Yeah, just a few months ago.
Woohoo!
Yes.
I love it.
Awesome. I've never had so much love and support, and I didn't even know these people prior to this company. Yeah, it's changed my life. Really has.
So Zach's here.
Yeah, Sarah and Zach are there. So when we meet, when we have dinner, we can really share a lot of the people's stories. This is Sarah. She's actually on your team. So she is, or if you've seen your tree, you know Sarah in there. So that's she's a great girl.
There's Zach.
And here we have, she was here earlier, Katie Newbaum. She's released 85 pounds. She just hit 4-star last night. Which is a great in the business too, but she was here with us all weekend. She quit her job. She's released 85 pounds and she's kept it off, and she's going for a bikini model. This was Dr. Joe Boggs. He was here with us too. Cindy's here. You'll get to meet her and she can share her story. And like I said, we can all talk at dinner. about all that. Timothy. So this right here, Timothy has been working out for, he says, like 3 years doing P90X. This is him in 90, that's a 90-day transformation for him. And the visceral fat, that deadly fat that you used to have, that a lot of men have, it's really a specialty of Isagenix. So, oh, there's Belinda.
There's my baby belly right there. That was me.
Oh my.
So we really live in a toxic world. Poison's everywhere. It's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the food, genetically modified, herbicides, pesticides, you really can't escape it. So toxic deposits can cause a lot of issues in the body. People think that the isogenic system is what's really doing the cleansing of the body. Your body can naturally detox if it has what it needs. And if you can rest your GI tract. So that's how we incorporate the cleansing. But the Cleanse for Life is just aiding your body in its natural ability. You have a liver, a kidney. This is why my sister has been able to do this and why so many people stand here not rebounding, because rebound is such a common thing, is because in traditional dieting, you're restricting calories. Well, our food's so deficient anyway, and so because you're restricting calories, you're actually your body's gonna be more starved, but because you're getting nutrient-dense food and all of it, it's never starving, and then you've released impurities. So your body's not saying, whoa, 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 as soon as it gets calories to convert it into fat to protect you. So that's the Cleanse. You can get it in liquid or powder. Here's the Ionix. We all call this our super duper liquid gold. Back in '53, before the pesticide came out, you could get your daily recommended amount of iron in 1 cup of spinach. Now it takes over 50 cups. So that's just to give you an idea of how deficient the food is. Dr. Linus Pauling is a brilliant man. Again, we don't make any medical claims, but if you research him, I mean, just his studies, he says that every single sickness and disease in the human body is traced back to a mineral deficiency. And if you really, that's a profound statement, and if our food's so deficient, and that's why people like Aurelia, who was doing everything right, they were doing organic, eating clean, juicing, she's like, I don't need to do none of that Isagenix, da da da, and her transformation was so massive because she was actually getting nutrients that she was really deficient in. So I actually came in a 5K second doing the Ionix before, and I hate running.
So proud of her.
I don't run. I was like, you all should be ashamed of yourself letting me come in second place.
I don't either. I came in 6th place in my category. I never run. I hadn't even ever run. It's like, I don't even run.
It's the Ionix.
We did our Ionix Supreme. We entered a race.
That really is, though. That's this drink right here. It has adaptogens. People who work out, like this right here is the minerals, and it has 70 ionic trace minerals. Just taking that once a day, our founder loves that product above all other products, like the power of it because of minerals. So that's a great
Is that
product.
something everybody should take every day?
I believe so, yes. I believe so, yes. They say for children, a lot of things that we say, 18 and up, just for, we don't, they don't do any testing. It has adaptogens and a lot of herbs. But I also know parents who give their children Ionix and everything. So company-wise, they say 18 and older for Ionix. These are shakes. You're talking about getting a full meal replacement. So you're not having to add a bunch of other stuff and they really are. They're rich, thick, creamy, and delicious when you make them good and icy. Blenders have been going off 24/7 here this week. So we source only from New Zealand. So we're not doing any type of herbicides, pesticides on the grass that they're eating. There's no GMO grain that they're being fed compared to all these dairy cows over here. They're injected with just so many steroids, growth hormones, and all that. So we do source only from New Zealand, so it's a very pure source, and we don't heat the protein. For a weight loss, you do 2 shakes a day and 1 meal a day. So if you're doing a meal, I recommend to keep it about 600 calories and just smart, instead of doing like a loaded baked potato, maybe a sweet potato with some cinnamon. Choices like that. These are our vitamins, so really for anti-aging, we're really big on those, I know in this group. And I mean, there's just things that we just can't formulate in the shake, so it just gives the whole circle of health. So here you see a bad vitamin and a wonderful vitamin. So a lot of vitamins have a bunch of fillers in them. So this is my favorite product of Isagenix. It's called Product B. Do you take Product B? No? Well, I'm gonna do a little education on it. So we all have DNA. I'll let somebody say it. All right, but at the tips, that right there is called a telomere. And as those get short, you lose bases. So that's just, your cells divide. That's aging. As we get older, our cells divide, replicate. So that is the aging process. Now that's basal cell when it's just happening. Then we have accelerated shortening, of telomeres. So it's like if you had a candle, it'd be like both ends burning. So not just the natural, because of all the oxidative stress, any toxicity that gets in our body, that causes an accelerated shortening of telomeres. Telomerase, that's the enzyme that controls it all. So we're going to go in and look inside a skin cell. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. And then we have a gene, we have a nucleus, we have that, and then we have that. So that's the telomere. So that's our chromosome with a telomere. Now let's blow up the telomere, magnify it. So when we're conceived, we have 15,000 bases. Now, when we're born, we already are down to 10,000. And that's just it. That's just its aging. So as we're growing older, we lose the bases. That is called basal cell shortening. So, but what's happening now too, though, is that we've had an accelerated shortening, and cell death is when you've hit 5,000. But now it's like if you had a shoelace, you know, and the frayed ends, so that's really the accelerated shortening. So Bill Andrews, he's really done a lot with the human telomerase. So they discovered it in 1994, and then how to turn it on. So just to give you an idea, it's turned off, like if you had a light switch to turn it on, it's turned off every single where in your body except for your reproductive system. So in your, or you'd have old kids, right? So you don't want to have old kids. So here you have, this right here is your reproductive system. So your cells are replicating that way. Now everywhere else, because the switch is off, that's shorter, 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 shorter. So easy enough. But then too, again, we have that acceleration in cell damage, and that's aging. Anybody with degenerative diseases has shorter telomeres than they should. And so they were able to reverse aging in mice and to activate the telomerase in the body. Now the effects of that, though, was very, very toxic. So they used synthetic forms and chemicals. And so now we have John Anderson, our founder, and Bill Andrews. So we call it Science Meets Wellness. And he said there's no way that you can do it with natural botanicals. It's not going to happen. But lo and behold, this is what happens. So we have first generation, second generation, and third generation, where we actually got to that from natural botanicals, getting the same effects that the synthetic was on the telomeres. And he could not believe it. Like, he was just like, what are you doing? What are you kind of, I mean, he's a genius in minerals. And our fourth generation is actually even higher than we had that. So what it's doing is the catalase is what's being measured. And catalase, it increases the longevity in the research by decreasing the accelerated shortening of telomeres. And there's actually been a 30% higher catalase in the body for those people on product B. So I'm not going to, for time purposes, go over all that. But that's really, for me, a game changer, especially with fourth generation. And there's an entire hour presentation of like, this is something that excites you want to learn more about or share this with people. That, like, I just went over the very, very basics for time purposes. So now, obviously, we have great products, right? And you'll meet everybody in here who has been affected a lot by the products of Isagenix. And so I'm going to take it now. So if you have a great product, then you have a great opportunity. So I like the question, would you rather $1 million today or a penny that's going to double, but it's only going to double for 30 days and then it stops? Right? The old me would have said $1 million. So I want to talk about residual. If you had $10 million in the bank, then your residual income, if you were earning a 1% interest, would be $10,000. So I've really been on a mission to show people how they can have at least $5 to $10 million in the bank, the equivalent of that, in the next 2 to 5 years. Are you interested in learning that? Yeah? So you never know. All right, so let's talk about wealth too. If you really think about it, I like to look at it in like time forms. So, example, you could have $5,000 a month in bills, and if you had $20,000 in savings, that's how long that you could go without bringing in additional cash or having to go to work to get it, right? That's your current level of living. So your wealth is approximately for 120 days if you weren't going to change anything in your lifestyle. So has anybody ever heard that's a pyramid scheme? Has anybody ever said that's a pyramid scheme? I used to, but then I realized that I was in a pyramid scheme for a really long time, and it was called corporate America. So this was what I was. I was a nurse down here, and there was a CEO of a hospital. How long, how many years, and what could I have done? How many hours could I have put in to get to his salary? It ain't gonna happen. That is a pyramid structure. every single place in corporate America is set up like a pyramid. But the thing is you're paid based on a title, not based on production, or you're not based on service. So no matter how, now I could get overtime, but there's only so much overtime that you can do. And then the nursing assistant who's wiping the butts, she's getting paid the least, right? She's getting paid the least. And who's making the biggest impact on the patients while they're staying there? Right? Right, the ones that get paid the least. So you're paid on a title. And this is completely opposite. If you don't produce in this, you don't make money. But if you want to produce and outproduce everybody else, you can get paid as much as you want. Majority of my mentors in this are college dropouts, or they just have a GED and they're millionaires, right? So it doesn't even take any kind of education or anything. That's what my office looked like. Then you have manual labor, people have cubicles, and for the younger generation, going to work and dropping their kids off at daycare and not even getting to raise their own family because they're truly in a pyramid scheme of corporate America. And they do it for 40 years, and never to even create something residual. Maybe you get a pension. So I used to see these things online and be like, all right, it's crazy how some people think that 5 to 10 years to be an entrepreneur is a long time, or that it takes a long time to earn money in something like this, but that they're okay with working a job for 40 years, not to even create residual for 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. I say no. I make the beach my office often. I love the beach and I love travel, and I make my schedule completely around my husband's. And like I said, I've finally gotten to travel. All of this while I'm earning residual money, and I can work anywhere that I am. We're a global technology world, and that right there stands for a lot of people. So in this business, the more people you serve, if you have a heart, you can really serve a lot of people. I don't show this to impress anyone, but to impress upon people that I know what I'm talking about because I'm living it and I'm experiencing it, and I'm watching other people do the same. So these are screenshots of my earnings up through March. And I could pull up my back office now, and I've made even more the month of April, and I'll even make more the month of May. I've even made more. So how does someone go from $900 in April to over $8,000 a year later in April? Because I'm not in a pyramid. Because I'm paid based on production and not based on a title that someone says that that title is worth, right? Because I'm producing a lot and I'm serving a lot of people. How do you go then from a February up to March, a $10,000 increase just in a 1 month time frame? Because I'm going to talk about a couple things. I'm going to talk about geometric progression, leverage, and quantum leaps. So this is my friend Jennifer who introduced me. She's currently the #1 millionaire in action in the entire company of over 500 associates. So it's a pretty strong team if you want to learn a little something, right? She did not need to build this business, but she saw opportunity. Successful people often go after opportunity, which is why they're successful. How does someone in March, $10,000, jump to a 6-figure income in 1 month of over $100,000? She just had a $74,000 week. Right? How does that happen? It happens because you're paid based on production. Wendy, who's here right now, this was her April earning of over $10,000. She was a paralegal for 23 years. She started just to lose weight. She released 50 pounds in 90 days. Everybody was asking her what on earth she was doing. And so we have Wendy, a weekly earning of almost $5,000, $4,976. Casey, $16,000 for a week. And Jennifer, there was her $73,965. Those were our weekly paychecks 2 weeks ago that we have in this presentation. So I'm going to invite you to say, what would that amount of money do for my life? And is it worth me listening to this, or if I pick up an aha moment, to invest in building something like this, or just to stay on my current path? So you really are going to be surrounded by a team of support. You're going to have these people as your just advisory board. And again, we can get into more about them. Jim and Kathy Coover, companies are calling us. They want to know how we're doing it and how we're doing it so fast. The leadership starts at the top. And Jim and Kathy have been very successful in a lot of things. This is a private company. They really treat us like family. And when people feel safe and when people have exceptional leaders, Kathy Coover, the most influential woman in direct selling in 2013, a lot of great things can happen. So here's some statistics about network marketing. There's 1,000 companies that are started every single year. It's a great way to move product. It's been around for a very long time. I mean, it's an exceptional way to move product. Now, 80% of women who earn 6 figures do it from home in direct sales. It is a beautiful thing, especially with technology. 90% of those companies that start, just like any other companies that start, fail. I mean, startup companies, it's hard. 80 companies in the network marketing industry have hit 100 million annually. 50 have hit 300 million. 5 have hit 300 million and keep growing domestically. And there's only one that hit 500 million and grew 45% in the health and wellness in their domestic market. And that was Isagenix. 82% of people just use the products. That's a really big thing to consider in this, is just how many people are using the products and then how many people take advantage of the opportunity. Out of that 17%, only about 5% are taking it to the level that a lot of us in this room are taking it to. So we're solving problems. If you think about health and wellness, weight loss alone in the United States is a $20 billion industry. 108 million, that's the number of people that go on diets every single year. So you're never going to run out of a market to serve. If you think entrepreneur, you have to have people that you're going to help solve problems. So also, we have clinical studies. We are a very science-based company. Now, we had 2.3 times more visceral fat loss with Isagenix than the heart healthy diet. The visceral is the fat around the stomach and around your organs, the deadly fat. And then we had 47% more overall fat loss with Isagenix. So we also have done maintenance, where we've done a year-out study where people are maintaining, and the heart healthy diet, people do not maintain and they gain their weight back. So then you think about vitamins, minerals, supplements. We've got some athletes here also that can attest to their just performance using the Isagenix system. I have a lot of NFL people and everything on the team too. But if you think about 32 billion in 2021 to go to 60 billion, that's, as an entrepreneur, I want my hand in that. That's a lot of growth. Anti-aging, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, right? So then we have product B for that. And the more you learn about that, the more excited. Then how many people are stressed about money? A lot. Most everyone I come into contact with is the number one stressor in their life is money and debt, or they hate their job, or they make money but they never get to see their family because it's just they're attached to that. So again, these are the top 4 resolutions every year. Get out of debt, make more money, lose weight, and get healthy. And we solve every single one of those. So we took home Company of the Year, and that was for the Stevies. So other companies in the Stevies are like American Express, Aflac, Procter & Gamble. Have you ever read Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Robert Kiyosaki? He is amazing. What do?
I'm a CPA.
You're a CPA. Love it. All right, well, once accountants kind of, so you like numbers. Awesome.
He's very good with
I'm going to show you some numbers, and I would love your opinion on it. Have you ever read him? No? So he's a financial advisor, and he just is very, very successful. And he writes books. He had 2 dads. He had a rich dad, which he says he was a high school dropout, but turned entrepreneur. And then he had his father, who he calls his poor dad, who was very well educated. He had his doctorate, he was a professor, but he always had more than money. His money would always run out, he could never give, and then he had his rich dad, who was his friend's dad. So he says that the richest people in the world look for and build networks, everybody else looks for work. And so if you really think about that, we're also in a social media age. How I'm connected with Aurelia, how we're sitting here right now is ultimate. Every single person in this room is from social media, and we're also global. So I have teams in 7 of these countries, and it's a global thing. So if you like numbers, this is the part for you. All right, this is the entire thing of our comp plan. It does not get more complicated than this. You have a left side and you have a right side. Now you also share a right side with Aurelia. So anything that she's done after you, those people are underneath you too. But we're gonna say, can you find 2 people and then show them how to find 2 people, 1 on your left and 1 on your right, and then take it 1 step further. Can you find 2 on your left and 2 on your right who get it? Not the product users, not the people coming in the products, but the people who understand what I'm about to show you. And everybody's sleeping so great on Isagenix, but I'm talking about people who can't sleep because they're so fired up about this and they just want to build. Yes. All right, so let's take it 1 step further. All right, so to be active in Isagenix, you purchase $150 of product. That's about, give it a buck or 2, that's gonna be the 100 points to stay active. So who here spends $150 a month on food? Everybody, right? So can you take food that's better for you and reallocate your spending? So you're not even asking people to spend what they're not even spending. You're just asking for a redirection towards better food for people that are actually getting healthy, they're feeling great, and then this is what's going to take place. So I had a $1 raise when I was in a pyramid of corporate America, and it was a $1 raise. My nursing career, I got $1. Woo! a dollar, right? And now I'm able to give myself thousands and thousands of dollars of raises because I'm doing geometric progression. Are you familiar with the term geometric progression? I'm sure with numbers. So, all right, so we have 4 people. Now, those 4 people, they don't stop until they find 4 people. And we had 45 people here this weekend. So now that 4 becomes 16, then 16 to 64. So you've had a leap, you've had a jump of a quantum leap right there, a small quantum leap. Now that 64, who each enrolled 4, that becomes 256. So you have a total of 340 people now just from 4 people. And I'm talking about if people are just purchasing the minimum. The minimum purchase of 100 BV would be about $51,000 of products moving through your organization if people weren't even doing anything other than just purchasing the minimum. And I'm talking about the 4 people who get it, not even product users. So that comes to $2,000 a month in residual income because we get paid 6% off of our volume. So, and again, that's just the 4. So maybe that takes someone 3 years to do. Let's just take it low. Like, you know, I've been in it, September will be 3 years. I've obviously gone a lot faster. So it just depends on where somebody's commitment is. So let's say it's in year 4. You go to 256 that you had, do the 4, 1,024 now. Add them all up, that would be the total of over 1,300 people. Now that would be over 200,000. So that would be, and this is again just people's orders going out because they're eating better food and they understand this concept and they build networks of people who purchase food from Isagenix. That's $8,000 a month in residual income.
Now, these are people that are just doing the product, not...
No, these are people like me. Let's say this is just an example to give you an idea of numbers. To geometric progression, that it really doesn't take a whole lot, right, for this stuff to start adding up. But if you had 2 people on your left and 2 people on your right who each got it for a total of 4, they're not going to stop until they find 4, right? 4 people who get it, who are willing to stand up, learn some things, get uncomfortable, to really present. And so this is just that those people are all just purchasing the minimum to stay active to build a business. I'm not even talking about product users being in, purchasing. I'm just talking about the minimum of purchase from builders, from your builders. So let's then take it to year 5. If the same progression, and again, if you find 4, this has to take place because you don't stop. I don't stop. People don't stop until they find their 4 people who are all in. And that would come to $32,000 a month in residual income. And I was very, very skeptical. I didn't this happen. You see people on stage, you think there's no way that's possible. I've went to school for so long. I paid all that money to get an education. I got to work for 40 years, right? But this is out there. And for people who are hungry for it, who are willing to go through people to find just 4, and you're going to be able to bless a lot of people on the products, right? I mean, you're going to be able to help a lot of people with their health goals. And then if somebody says that's expensive, I'm like, where else are you doing an organic meal for $3? You ain't, right? So could somebody just do a meal a day and then add something else, like maybe the product B, or maybe the Ionix, or maybe cleanse every once in a while? Some people just like to stay on 2 shakes a day. So that's really how you can have the equivalent of 10 million in the bank. And Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, 5% of the population controls majority of the wealth. Why is that? Because they play on the right side of the quadrant, everybody else plays on the left side. They're an employee or they own a small business. When you're an employee, you trade time for dollars. You don't work, you don't make money. Small business is your blood, sweat, and tears. I had a lot of people here that own small businesses this weekend, and that business ends up owning them, and they are sick and tired of all the overhead, the fact that they're not creating residual. You have exit strategies. You build something up just to sell it and kind of break away because you're spending so much of your time away from your family. Now, small business, like Walmart started out as a small business, right? Now it's a very big business. But that's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to go in. Then you have, once you start making residuals, you get into investments. So 5% of the population plays over on this quadrant. So if you talk about leverage, right? So one person at 8 hours a week, 5 days a week, that's 40 hours. So that's $400. 10 people at 1.5 hours, that's already comes to 75 hours. So I personally would rather earn 10% off of 100 people's efforts than 100% off my personal efforts. Right? I mean, that would be way much more. And what's really cool in this is that you're also earning off of what people above you are doing because they enroll below you. So it's not, it's a dual relationship. 20 people at 1.5 hours for 5 days a week is 150 hours. So the max hours of production that you can have off yourself is only 120 hours. If you were working 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, the most that you could even make hours production-wise is 120, and you've already exceeded that with just 20 people doing 1.5 hours. And that is how people are able to earn so much, because they're using leverage. And you have to just say, you know, what's your number? And that penny that was just a little penny comes to over $5 million in just 30 days. And that same principle is taking place in our compensation plan. But here's what happens, right? People get in and they expect to get rich quick like that. And I'm like, I don't know what other thing that you can do that you just get in and think that like if you don't make $10,000 in your first month, that you're a failure, or that it doesn't work, or that it's a scheme, right? I mean, I wasn't making that when I paid, you know, a ton of money and had a lot of student loans to be a nurse, and I was working my butt off. So if you would have taken that penny though, on day 15, when it's only $163, you're gonna be like, oh my God, I should have taken $1 million. Like, this is crazy. Why did I take the 163? Or why didn't I take the $1 million? But if you get past that and you give it time to develop, right, then by day 30, you're $5 million. So this is what it takes. You have to be willing to put in the time and receiving a little bit amount of money in the beginning. And we have a lot of bonus money that people can make getting their products paid for up front. I mean, Kathy Cooper, she's got a ton of upfront money, but I'm talking about that 6%. I didn't go over any of the bonuses or anything like that, just the flat out 6%. But as you go, I mean, pensions don't do this. This isn't happening in the corporate world. The more time you put in, then it gets to the less time and then the more money, right? I mean, think about this. There's no headache. There's no overhead. And my first month, I didn't make $1. I made jack. And then I shared it with a couple people. And then it just keeps progressing. And then I was there. It took me a year to get to about what I was making as a nurse. I made $1,500 every 2 weeks as a registered nurse. So August of being a year, I got almost to $3,000. But again, and then there it is. And now, you know, I'm close to earning now more in 1 month than I did as an entire year as a registered nurse. And that'll change your life on a dramatic scale, on a very dramatic scale. So, you know, too, I mean, if you look back at a February earning of 20, and then just in 2 weeks, I can earn 20 grand. I mean, it's crazy. And so for me, I share this story because people deserve to know what's out there that are looking for an opportunity. And this really isn't even in direct sales, because direct sales is not residual. It starts over every month, right? Cars, real estate, whatnot. Direct sales is like saying you can buy as many sodas from me as you want for $1 and then turn around and sell them for $2. Knock yourself out. Sell as many as you want, make 500,000, 5 million, however much you want to work. In network marketing, it's like this. Look, you're going to get one vending machine. That vending machine is your initial brown box. Now, you're just purchasing your own personal consumption. Now, people can come do direct sales out of here, which is like your website that you get. I personally don't do it. If it's not a residual, I don't like to do it, but people can. They can come do direct sales out of your website. All we're doing is we're helping people set up their own vending machines and then showing them how to place other vending machines, and you earn 6% off of all of that. So that's what this is. Now, our business centers go to $53,000 a month, and then we get to re-enter above ourselves and build as many as we want and still use our same volume. But this is the formula. First, is it affordable? It's your health. If you don't have your health, it's expensive, right? I mean, and you got to find the time for illness. I was spending a lot of money on junk food, a lot of money. So, you know, if you really think about reallocation, this is just a very basic. Starbucks, if you're just doing that 3 times a week, fast food just 2 times a week, lunch or dinner that's only $15 once a week, a soda a day, an energy drink just twice a week. That's $221 for 12 meals. Most people are doing 3, 4, 5, 6 times what that is right there. Then you talk about your grocery bill too. So this is our Big Mac Daddy Rolls Royce pack. It is a $40 a day pack, and it's $1,100. Most people don't start with this one, but after sometimes people are like, man, I wish I would have started with that one. It's just so much product, and it's over a $600 savings. You really get every single product in Isagenix. This is our most popular pack. It's called the President's Pack. It breaks down for $21.50 a day. So you think $21.50 a day for 2 meals a day. I mean, and you're getting all the cleansing, you're actually getting your results, you're getting the nutrition, you're getting your cellular cleanse. You're not going to beat that. Then we have a basic that is a $300 a day after you add the $29. Like Sam's Club, you know how like you shop at Sam's Club or Costco, you pay whatever to shop there for a year? Same thing. You pay that in this pack, and it comes to $11.25 a day or $12.60 for 72 meals. I find people are saving money doing this. And then I encourage you to take it to 1260 a day though, because friends don't let friends cleanse without the delights. You don't want to cleanse without ice delights. And you don't stay on that. Like I said, you just pick and choose what it is that you want based on your personal goals. If you're wanting to do weight loss, I encourage you to start with something like a President's Pack and then just do a basic until you get to your goal that you want. And then we just have great products. I mean, we're a grocery store. People eat food and people love it. So we get a story, and it's never a story in process. Every single day, our stories change. And we tell the story. These are the people that I look for. I look for people that are entrepreneurial, that are outside thinkers, and that are open to an idea that will change their life, and they're not set in stone about something not being possible, right? I look for entrepreneurial people, health-minded people, people that are currently on a healthy lifestyle track or that they want to improve their health. And then people who have fun. I mean, we had a blast this weekend, you know. We do a lot of fun things. And I mean, just the community that we develop of growing people. And then we just ask people questions. And we educate them then on that fourth solution. And that solution can help change their life. So I can draw out bonuses or the comp plan, but we do three-way calls, online webinars. I Skype in and do in-home presentations for people. We have a lot of great websites, a team website. And I mean, just as we are these things, we just start bringing the most amazing people into our lives. This is our #1 income earner. He started when he was 74 years old, and he's earned over $40 million in 13 years with the company between him and his family. And he says that when he found out there was a business where he could spend a few $100 to get started, eat his overhead, get healthy, and fail 90% of the time and get really wealthy, he was like, yeah, I think so. He is a blast. And that's really the presentation and the most part. Like I said, I can draw it out. It's a lot of information, so I always just encourage people just to start small. Put a shake in your body, then maybe the Ionix, then something else. And I know that you like the products, so but that's really what I encourage you. Are you on the products? A little bit. So, and you can start a little bit, and then a little bit more, and add a little bit. It's whatever it is for people. And then we have a really great support system on Facebook. So we do product coaching pages, welcome pages. You get your own back office, and you're gonna get. This is like your little. You can do orders, numbers. Here's what's different too. You'll see where there's like volume right there, bank volume, and a lot of other network marketing companies. If you don't use it, you lose it. Like they flush volume. Have you ever done network marketing before? No? So, in a lot of companies, they flush it. Isagenix, you actually bank it, which I'm sure you have some bank volume if you've been ordering actively, and I can look in your back office and assist you with anything like that. But, yeah, so if you're doing the business, I encourage you to be 29 days because your volume, you get paid on all of it instead of just what's over at 100 every 30 days. And if somebody tries it and they don't love it, in 30 days, they can eat it all and get their money back. I don't know any other opportunity where if you don't like it in 30 days after you invested some money and ate it, that you can get your money back if it didn't work out for you. Especially with the earning potential that this has with, you know, the hard work and the dedication and the really assisting other people. So I look at my friend Jennifer's checks and I say, man, I should have started a year ago. That's a little crazy. I'm really starting. So it's not when like you do an Isagenix, it's when Isagenix gets into you. So it has nothing to do with like when you open your account. It just has to do when you show up and when you're ready to do something. You know, like that's when it starts. That's the only time it starts. So what kind of questions do you have about that? I mean, there's so much information. But just really I like to show the big picture of what residual is. And I can always draw out like anything, but I would love we'll eat and we'll be merry and you can get to know some people and hear some incredible stories and all that. And whatever level, you know, I tell people that they want to take it to, we play with them and coach them, but it's a really great team.
I guess one of my biggest questions is, how do you know to put them on the right side or the left side?
That's a great question. That's been a question that we've had a lot of people asking. Do you want to share your story real quick since you're in here? This is Amber, while I get my water.
So my name's Amber Davis. I'm from Beaufort, Georgia. Me and Casey actually used to work at the same hospital together. We have a lot of the same friends, but we never actually knew each other, so it's kind of weird how that all kind of comes full circle. But anyway, my college roommate, Lacey McDaniel, actually introduced me to these products, and I just finished nurse practitioner school. And from the stress and the long hours and the working, and I had become a container eater. And I had put on a lot of weight. And I was about 40 pounds overweight. So I knew I needed to do something, and I had tried so many other things. I had even resorted to HCG. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I was even injecting myself with hormones to try to lose weight, and it was like nothing I did. I was working out, I was eating, my husband and I were even trying to eat healthier, and it was like nothing I did could get this weight off. I would lose a pound or two here or there, but it just kept coming back. So my friend Lacey had been posting these amazing pictures and these amazing stories, and I was at the point where, okay, I was willing to try anything at this point. So I sent her a message and I said, Lacey, you need to tell me about what you have. And she did, and I signed up right away. And I started putting the products in my body, and I felt a difference within, I think day 5 was my magical day. I woke up feeling better than I had felt probably since I was in college. I finally had energy again, and the pounds were coming off. I think by day 7, that's the first day I met Casey. She was doing a presentation at a house near me. I had already lost 8 pounds, and it was just flying off. And that kept me motivated too.
Mm-hmm.
So by the end of the month, I had lost 24 pounds. Well, 20 pounds and 24 inches. My clothes are falling off of me, and I've lost more inches since then, and I'm about to start my 3rd month as soon as I get back from the retreat here. So I'm super excited about it, and I've actually started to build my own team. I've advanced to the 2nd rank, and I'm really excited about the business opportunity as well, because my husband and I are kind of in a tight situation right now because we're trying to sell our house, and I've got student loans coming in, so
No doubt.
yeah, it's already making a big difference in my life. So I'm thankful for Casey and my roommate Lacey and everybody. We have a huge support here. It's an awesome community, and I never feel like I'm alone, so I'm grateful for that.
Well, that I noticed, there's always somebody to talk to and answer a question. And Aurelia, I can text Aurelia, and she writes back, a book like this, and I can say, well, how do I do this? And it's like, I'm like, okay, copy paste.
Right.
She's just been real supportive.
All right. So what? All right. What's your do you use like your name, Aaron, or?
Yes.
Now is Carlos your enrolling sponsor, or is Aurelia the enrolling
Aurelia,
sponsor?
I'm under Aurelia. As far as I know, yes, what I thought.
I'm not in a Carlos. There we go. All right. All right. So let me find it for you. All right, so for right and left, all right, just so I know. All right, right. For active. All right, so 100 points will keep you active. So even if like you order, so like some people, they might order like 150 and then like 60 next week. Every 30 days, you want to order that. So I would encourage 100 points every 30 days. All right.
I would not be doing that. Or
For-
have not been doing that.
That's okay. It's you can start doing it whenever.
Yeah.
It's like your rent. I figure that's how I look at it. The rent for the business is 100 points a month. It keeps you active.
Right.
Then you get to eat it. So it's like where do you get to eat your business expense?
Right.
That's always good.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
so for left and right. All right, so for left, all right, so this is how for you. All right, so when you come in, and I'll just draw you. All right, so when you come in to Isogenics, so basically you want to build your left side and your right side. Now, like family and stuff, I would keep together, but you have 100 points, keeps you active. So you're an active associate with a product user. So if you enroll one side on your right and one on your left, associates, that'll make you a consultant. So a consultant, we call it U plus 2. Now we have packs, 25, 80, and 150. So this is business builder packs that we talked about. That's the president's pack, and that's the basic pack that we went over. So you have 25, let's say we'll use the president's pack, that's the most popular. So 80 and 80 in the same week. This is the upfront money. This has nothing to do with the 6%. So that'll be right there. That would be, if you do it in the same week from Sunday to Monday, well, Sunday at 11:59 p.m. it ends. We'll say Monday to Sunday. That makes more sense. So Monday to Sunday is a week that you can double. So the double would be then 160 and 160, and that would be 50 for the first time you turn consultant. So U plus 2. That's the first step. Next step is manager. We call that U plus 2, them plus 2. Now, this right here would look like this. And it doesn't get any more complicated than this. This is the entire compensation plan, honestly. U plus 2, them plus 2. So that would be $100 and $100 for when you first turn your 2 people, like consultants. Because again, consultant is just somebody that has 2 associates. So $200 for that. If you do this in 30 days, which you're not, they would give you $250. So that's how people can get their packs paid immediately, right? Do you have 2 friends?
They get all their stuff paid for.
Yes, they get all their stuff paid for, and then some. So it's U plus 2, them plus 2. But that now I'm going to draw a lot more, and it's going to look really confusing. But it is just this over and over and over again. And so again, this is just the upfront money that I'm talking about. So next up is director. When you have a total of 6. All right, so we have right there, you would get 100 and 100 and 100 and 100 because you have 4 more consultants, right? And so if you do this, director, you have 6 consultants. If you do that in the first 90 days, which, since you've been in, they'd give you a $750 bonus. And then whatever packs you've been using to introduce people, and if they're doubling, because that's never a constant. All this other stuff, all this other bonus is constant. But it just depends on what you're enrolling in if it's constant. Then you have executive, and that's when you have 5 left and 5 right.
What difference does it make what side you put them on?
I just like to keep people who know each other financially linked.
Okay.
That way they're not competing.
Right, that's the way that they're together and there's no competition, they're financially linked. So people who know each other, I keep them financially linked. But bottom line is eventually you want to get to executive, 5 consultants on your left and 5 on your right. Because once you get to executive, you also get into more money. But you would get then $400 more because you have 4 more consultants. Right, because a consultant is just somebody that has 2 product users. They don't have to be building. Then you get to earn 10% of your personally enrolled people. And then you also get to get into leadership pools. So leadership pools is how a lot of us are able to earn an insane amount of money in a week. We're getting the 6%, but then the company also pays us for being very good leaders and helping other people make money. So then you're also earning 10% off of people that you've personally done. This is just the companies pay so much. They have no overhead. We're their sales force, and we're the people who are doing the best. They pay and they really reward for doing that. Then you'll also get an additional $1,000 for the next 10 people that turn consultants that you've enrolled. Because remember, you get $100 for each time you've personally enrolled someone and they turn consultant. And that's the goal for everybody to get there. Now, you're going to be enrolling, 82% of people that you're enrolling are not going to be enrolling other people, right? Statistically. They're just going to be sitting there like that. Make sense?
So they're just using, they're not enrolling.
Right, they're just going to be sitting there using like that. Okay. That makes sense, right? So, but that's okay. 6% it all rolls up. But so, how do you know left or right? You want to build 2 teams. So you have 2 teams in this business, a left side and a right side. And in the cycles, every single time you have 600 points on one side and 300 points on another, that generates the cycle for you.
And the points are accumulated when they order.
Yes. Okay. So that's the point. So every product has a point. So like a president's pack is 320 points. So that would be like 320 points there, 320 points there. Every single, and 600, they switch off, you know? So 600 points on one side and 300 points on another. And that's your cycle. And a cycle is $54 equals one cycle. And that's what a cycle is. And when you get to 250 cycles in a week, that right there is 13,500 a week, 53,000 a month, and 702,000 a year. And then what Isagenix lets you do is they let you re-enroll above yourself once you hit that. This is called a maxed out business center. My friend Jennifer's done that. And then, and because this is building so much, this is going to be pulling your 600 pretty much always, like this side. But then the line gets drawn there. And then every single time you get 300 points over here, you also generate a cycle. And you can re-enter as many times as you want. So a lot of companies, it was paid based on levels. The term pyramid a lot of times came from people getting up here and then only getting paid based on like 3 levels down or set. Most pay plans that you hear about are like 7 levels, meaning once it got to 7 level, if you brought in a rock star underneath here, you don't get paid on them. And so you only got paid down to your 7 levels. But you could like build out as much as you wanted, but this is more of a networking, and it's really a volume thing because the volume all rolls up no matter where they could be 100 levels down and it would roll up. So that's, and there's videos and everything that you'll learn about, that we can learn about all that. But you want left side, right side. But I like to keep people financially linked. I really do. I like to keep people financially linked.
Explain that, what you mean financially linked.
So like my mom, if I put my mom over here and my sister over here, they don't benefit from one another. So I split them up. When I was for family members per se. So like my nursing unit, right? When I was enrolling people that I worked with, if I would enroll one nurse over here and one over here, they no longer benefit from each other. They're not on the same legs.
That's like right now I have a good friend of mine and we want to work together, but because we're on separate legs, who's going to get what? So it doesn't really benefit one or the other to work with each other, even though we would really love to.
Right.
So
work with each other. It's all team. I encourage everybody to always work together, but just to be financially linked. And that way, if you know people in the same circle, it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, well, you enroll this one, I'll enroll the next one. So there's no competition involved when you keep people financially linked. So like, family members or whatever side. So just if people know each other, I keep them linked together. I would never enroll someone based on a certain side for a cycle or for anything to split people up.
or like your workplace, or
Yeah.
people who live close together, or like your neighborhood. I don't know if that would be a good example.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because then they can support each other.
Right. Yeah, it's for support and to be linked together. We all still support.
They're all different legs. but
Yeah, it's just
that's-
nice to be on the same legs. So, but I'll send you the. Like I said, that looks confusing, but it's not more than just that. Doesn't get more complicated than that. That's it. So, you look gorgeous.
I know.
She's ready to be on camera.
It is. You look amazing.
She takes product basics something.
That's right. So, but yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. Like I said, it's really bottom line is be a product of the product, and then just you learn as you go. And so whenever you're ready to start going, I know you're going through a lot of things still and whatnot. So just as soon as that, you have that time, then just we'll build upon it. So just, you can kind of get prepared, but you really do have a strong support system.